I'm back in New Jersey. You guys know when you see this big, my queen in the back of me, Queen Nefertiti, you know, when you see that, I'm in New Jersey. So I wanted to do a video, just one of those talkative videos concerning lock here. But today, one of my clients is amazing. She's a Sisterlocks consultant. She booked an appointment. She has traditional locks, and she booked an appointment with me. She's been with me for like over a year. And while we were talking, I didn't know she was a Sisterlocks certified consultant. So I said, well, you want to do a video because I get all these questions about Sisterlocks and I don't know how to answer them. Those of you that have subscribed to me, for the people who know me personally, clients, whatever, you know I'm the type of person who stays in my lane, and Sisterlocks is something I do not do. I know nothing about it. I don't even advise people on it, right? Because I believe one of the things in the lock community, everybody want to be dabbling. You know, the person who does weaves doing locks, the person who is doing naturally is doing locks, and they're all different types of hair. For me, like as I said, I stay in my lane. So this young lady, her name is Shacara. She is a certified Sisterlocks consultant. She's going to explain why that word, you guys know how I am about how you word things, like me being the only Locologist. What's the difference between a certified Sisterlocks consultant and somebody doing micro locks? She's going to explain all of that. And the reason why I'm so glad she's here, I believe the creator lines everything up, is because, again, one, you guys know I'm big on networking with anybody that's black and trying to promote their business, but it's beyond promoting her, is to help the lock community. Fortunately, though I don't do a deal with Sisterlocks, Sisterlocks is part of the lock community. So I want to be able to help you guys. And I realize some of you Sisterlocks people are watching my videos thinking what I talk about is for you, and it's not for you. You guys are on a whole different stuff going on. So I am glad now that she's here. Now, disclaimer, no negative comments, please. You know what is going to happen concerning that. Secondly, please do not ask her anything relating to traditional locks, because I do traditional locks. All your questions, if you do have questions, I'm going to read it out while she's here, while we're doing the video, and I'm going to ask her questions that I know is that for the Sisterlocks community. But please don't ask her what products to put. Listen carefully. She's a lot like me. That's why I'm so glad to do this with her. She's going to talk about patience and all that. It just relates to Sisterlocks. All right? So this is not, well, okay, how can I freeform my locks? That is not a Sisterlocks question. So, okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be rough. I know I do come across a little aggressive and abrasive. Somebody told me that. Not like I care, but she's laughing. All right? Because there are people who really don't listen to what we're saying. I'm trying to help the lock community, and there's a reason why I'm talkative. There's a reason why I'm big in explaining things, so it fits for everybody's lifestyle. Today is the day for Sisterlocks. Okay, so Shacara is here. Welcome her with open arms, positive energy. Please send it our way and her way. All right. By the way, before I finish, before I bring her on, her information is below. Anything relating to Sisterlocks, you can call or text her. Please do not call or text me. I repeat, I know nothing about Sisterlocks. I am proud of that fact. All right, there's enough for all of us. We don't need to compete with each other. And Shacara, there you go. We don't need to compete with each other. Okay, there's enough to share, and I'm willing to share my following with her. She's more than willing to answer questions. If you have questions concerning Sisterlocks, her information is right below. Feel free to share this post. Tag other people in it. All right. So let me bring it on. Further ado. Y'all see how beautiful she is? Don't you just hate her disrespectful hair? Oh my God. And I just did it. Y'all should have seen how disrespectful it was. Give it a nice shake. Give it a nice shake. All right. That's the end of the All right. So let's talk a little bit about you being a certified Sisterlocks consultant. Exactly what is a certified Sisterlocks consultant?
Okay, so me being certified means I went through the Sisterlocks course. I took the course. I also, it was 4 days long. Also, after the course, I followed the techniques used to do 3 people's hair. And then, you know, my work was reviewed by the Sisterlocks company, and I received my certification after that.
Okay, so So, I'm going to be asking you questions that have come towards me with people asking about Sisterlocks, and I had no clue how to answer them. So, it's a blessing that you're here. So, let's say I wasn't Yannie, right? And I have a big afro, and I want to get Sisterlocks because I've heard about it, right? But I'm going to the loctician around the corner. Should I do that?
No, if you're interested in Sisterlocks, your locks they will only be considered Sisterlocks if they're done by a certified Sisterlocks consultant or trainee. So your best bet is to be looking for a consultant or trainee through the Sisterlocks website. There's a list of people in your area that have gone through taking the course, and that's where you should start.
Okay, what is the Sisterlock website?
It's www.sisterlocks.com.
Okay, say that again.
www.sisterlocks.com.
Okay, you guys heard that. Okay, now I know this is the $1 million question, right? Because I get it all the time. So Michelle might have Sisterlocks, right? And she already have them installed and she's had them for years or whatever. But she wants to go to the girl around the corner. This is not an installation. This is just getting them retightened or whatever words. Should she be doing that?
I would not advise that. At least with the Sisterlocks consultants, you have the security of knowing that they've taken the course, that they've been trained. And if you're going to someone around the corner whose work you may not necessarily know of, they could damage your locks. Your locks could be severely damaged, or you risk the lock pattern being changed or something on you.
Okay. Now, you know how I am about, because you actually subscribe to me and you're my clients with traditional locks.
Right.
Okay. But let's say somebody, I'm going to use me as an example. Let's say it wasn't me and I have Sisterlocks, but I like all the natural organic thing that is being talked about with traditional locks. Should I be putting that stuff in my hair?
No. It is very different, and I know that can be confusing for a lot of people, but Sisterlocks is a very minimal to no product type of way to wear your hair. So you have to get used to using nothing, or once your locks are settled, water-based products. So it's always safe to start with the Sisterlocks products. There is their own product line that goes along with them. And just follow the advice and suggestions of your consultant.
Oh, interesting. So give an example of what is a water-based product. Now, I know they can get it from, which I would rather anybody that have Sisterlocks definitely get the Sisterlock product line. But what is a water-based? Because somebody might hear that and have no clue what a water-based
So water-based products are more like creams. They sort of have the consistency of lotions. Which you'll see if you go on the website. You'll see that some of their products are not as thick and oily or buttery. Okay. Because that kind of thing could lead to slippage in your locks or cause buildup. Very similar to what Yannie talks about. So you need to be very careful about the type of things you put in your locks.
No, which is funny, and this is to show why I wanted to bring her on. You guys hear in my voice, you don't need to see me. Why I wanted to bring her on is to show the difference. We are combining way too many things for different types of hair. And you mentioned something that is a little creamy base, and I, on the other hand, don't want anybody with traditional locks to put anything cream. Now, how often should a Sisterlock person wash their hair?
That's a good question, because I notice a lot of people overwashing. We will tell you that you can wash your hair when it feels dirty to you or when you feel like you need to wash it, but in no instance is overwashing, like washing every day or washing even sometimes weekly, is not really necessary. So you have to gauge it and learn your hair and your own scalp needs, and you and your consultant can kind of figure out what's best for you, but at no point would washing every day or even every other day be appropriate.
Right. So they could stretch it out to let it, because you were explaining that when I was washing your hair, how basically we have that in common about drying out the sebaceous glands.
Exactly.
And that is an issue most people have. They're overwashing.
Right. I notice a lot of clients coming in with severely dry scalp. They have a lot of dandruff and stuff, and a lot of times we realize it's because they're washing too often. Right. Way too often. Okay. So let's say a client comes to you and a client heard about Sisterlocks, because it has its following. It has its people who loves it, right? I being Rasta, it's not for me, but I don't mind
sending people to people like you for Sisterlocks.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say somebody who've never had it, they never had traditional locks, but they have a scalp issue. Like let's say for a woman, which most women do Sisterlocks, but men do brother locks, male pattern baldness. How would you advise to get their hair done?
No. Any major scalp issues or conditions you need to go to a dermatologist, get it under control before you even think about getting locks. You know, it wouldn't be appropriate if you have some issues with balding to then put locks in your hair. So I would wait until your hair is growing back, until you've seen a dermatologist. They give you whatever medications you may need, and, you know, then we can consider locks.
When you consider locks.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about the process of Michelle coming to you with a big afro. Who, for those who want Sisterlocks, how would the process be?
All right, so you get in touch from the Sisterlocks website. You find out who does Sisterlocks in your area, and then we'll schedule a consultation. It's usually about an hour to an hour and a half long. Come with all the questions you may have about Sisterlocks. That's your time to get it all out. And I also think you should have done some research too on your own before you come to the consultation, so you know what you should be asking. So we have the consultation. If at the end of the consultation you decide, yes, it sounds good, I want to move forward with Sisterlocks, a few sample locks are installed in your hair. So we see how how your hair changes over the period of time before the installation, which is usually about 2 weeks. And then we'll schedule your install dates, which can be a 2 to 3 day period. It all depends on your hair length and thickness. Okay.
Now, I'm reading I'm going to go back to my questions, but I guess some people miss this. Some people actually don't know what is Sisterlocks.
Oh, okay.
So explain to them exactly what is Sisterlocks. Does it look like?
Okay, well, Sisterlocks is a patented version of micro locks. They have their own very specific grid that we use when we do your hair, and there are different locking patterns that are appropriate for different curl patterns or different types of hair. So the goal of Sisterlocks too is for people who are sort of afraid of a lot of people are afraid of the versatility of traditional locks, which, you know, is debatable. I don't necessarily agree that they're not versatile. But if you're afraid of not having enough styling options, then people usually look towards Sisterlocks because the way they're parted and the size allows you to do a lot more styling with them.
So because they're very small.
They're very
small.
You
guys may have seen it. For those of you that don't know what, just picture micro braids. They're as small as micro braids. Right. Someone asked, Ayaba asked, I'm thinking about beginning Sisterlocks. What's the process for starting Sisterlocks from natural hair so they don't grow thin or overly spaced?
Okay, well, that one is kind of in some way self-explanatory. You have to have at least 2 inches of natural hair to start. And with Sisterlocks, you can start with relaxed hair. Your ends can be relaxed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
wow.
You just have to have at least 2 inches of new growth.
Okay.
Okay, and like...
So sorry to cut you, somebody with Sisterlocks don't have to do the big chop.
They don't
if
have
they want.
If
wow.
they really wanted to avoid the big chop, they don't have to cut their hair.
Interesting. Yeah. See, look, even I learning. See, that's why she's here, because we don't know everything, and I don't pretend like I do. Right. All right, go ahead.
And the way to keep your hair thick, I mean, some people have naturally thick hair. Some people have thinner hair. So if your hair is thicker, just like with traditional locks, you end up with thicker Sisterlocks. If your hair is thinner, you may end up with locks that are smaller. But the way to keep your hair healthy is to not be messing around with it often, and to make sure you advocate for yourself. So if your consultant is doing your hair too tight, you need to tell them, you know, if it feels tight, say something so you don't end up with thinning. But that's really the only way. If you're messing with your hair too much, or if your hair is not being done properly, it could lead to thinning.
It could lead to thinning. Yeah. Okay. So somebody asked, what is it? Which we did answer that. So the difference between traditional locks, I would just reiterate that for biolumen. Traditional locks, these words are self-explanatory. Traditional locks is what she has in her hair, which is just, it looks like locks. Sisterlocks are very, very small. who do you, I don't think I asked this, or maybe I did, I'm rewording it. Who do you, because I believe not everybody could have something. Right? I honestly believe that.
That's true.
Some people should not have locks.
Nope.
Honestly speaking. And I know people look at me like, no. And this has nothing to do with race. Like, I have clients that are Caucasian. It's not, there's some people who should not have locks.
I agree.
Right. How would you know somebody should not have Sisterlocks?
Okay.
What are the things?
You should not be considering Sisterlocks if you know you're impatient. Locks
that's just like locks.
So, yeah, it takes a lot of patience. Like the beginning process, it takes a while sometimes for people's hair to mature and look like locks. And if you know you're the type of person that's going to be sitting in the mirror, obsessing over each strand, trying to see if it locked, if it's not locked, what's going on with this, it's not right for you. Because you might end up trying to mess with your hair, trying to put stuff in your hair that you're not supposed to, and you will damage your hair. You will. Yeah.
It's funny, in the back, when I was washing your hair, that's how this came about. Yeah. This was impromptu. Yeah. And you were telling me, when you say you got clients, I was like, where you got clients from? Right. This girl was so humble. She never told me what she did. And she's been coming to me for over a year. I'm like, what? I wanted to beat her, but she was over the sink already. So, I'm just joking. But we were laughing because we have that in common about the impatience. Yeah. Like, what are I don't want to say pet peeves to me, I can say that for me, but what are the things you encounter with people with Sisterlocks?
It's just that. It's the impatience. It's like the constant worry about whether or not
Monkey, please get down.
She wants to be in the camera.
I know, right? She's so disrespectful.
That worry about whether or not your hair is locking or whether it's doing what it's supposed to do. Like, at the end of the day, even though Sisterlocks are considered to be a very, very people say neat or organized, way of doing locks. At the end of the day, it's still locks. It's still formed by matted hair. There's only so much you can do to force that hair to mat and tangle, and it shouldn't be forced. It should be allowed to do it naturally. And organically. Organically, right. So sitting and worrying about whether your hair is locking is just it's no point in it. Mm-hmm. It's no point. It's a waste of time, and you're only stressing yourself out.
Interesting. Okay, so we discussed this in the back because we went over the question first. Mm-hmm. Somebody comes to you with, and I'm going to list the top 5. Seborrheic dermatitis. Never had Sisterlocks before. Seborrheic dermatitis. What do you call it? Eczemas, dandruff, dry scalp, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they insist on getting Sisterlocks. What are the things that...
Yeah, they would have to... If it's a scalp condition and say their hair itself is healthy but they're having a scalp condition, they have to go see a dermatologist or get that under control before even considering Sisterlocks. You don't want Sisterlocks when you have a major issue going on with your scalp. Mm-hmm. It's just not appropriate.
No,
and if it's chronic, then they might not be right for you.
Be right for you, yeah. Exactly. Because some is just like a quick thing that could be going on with your diet or something like that, or you're allergic to something. But if it's something that you've had your whole life, it's not for you. This is where we're talking about some things are not for people. Yeah. So Sisterlock is, and we were saying that if I know somebody's wondering, or somebody might ask that about price. Every client is different concerning price. I think it's inappropriate for her to discuss prices, but it is price-wise is a whole difference from traditional locks, right? If somebody is frugal, in other words, cheap like heck. And some people don't know what frugal mean. Yeah. Like me, I'm extremely cheap. Yeah. I will buy $6 shoes, but I'll spend money on food because I'm greedy. I'm a greedy vegan. I have $6 slippers. You guys who met me in person know my pink slippers, right? $6. Should they consider Sisterlocks?
No, honestly, no. You shouldn't consider Sisterlocks if you're extremely frugal. Sisterlocks is meant it's more appropriate for someone who goes to someone else to get their hair done anyway. Like, if you're the type of person that was getting your hair braided and braid extensions every 2 months or 3 months, then Sisterlocks might be appropriate for you because you might actually be saving money versus the hair you were spending on the braids. Also, if if you're in the hair salon trying to get your hair done every 2 weeks, you're actually probably saving money getting Sisterlocks. So if you are very frugal and you're not used to dishing out any money for someone else to do your hair, you're not going to be okay with doing it once you have Sisterlocks. And you can't just, with Sisterlocks, you can't let it go, because you can severely damage your hair if you're not getting your regular retightening.
What is the difference between microlocks and Sisterlocks? And now again, just to let you guys, listeners, know, I know the answer to all these questions, but I want her to answer. So I think it comes better coming from a Sisterlock consultant. What is the difference between microlocks and Sisterlocks? Now I get that Sisterlocks is trademark, like how my Locologist is trademark. Right. But in line of how they look, what is the difference?
Well, the difference between microlocks and Sisterlocks are a type of microlocks, but they're very specific in the way the parting is. They're specific parting systems, and in technique, in that the techniques are based on a person's hair type. So we look specifically at each client's head and their hair and the different textures within one person's scalp, and we lock based on your hair type, your curl pattern, your hair density. So that's the difference. It's more specific. Microlocks are more generic. So everyone's microlocks could be started the exact same way, whereas Sisterlocks are more catered to the specific client's head.
You know what is so funny? No, it makes perfect sense. I'm listening to you because we've never had this discussion. You come and get your hair done and you bounce. This is like, we don't know this part of each other. And I realize we have that in common in when I tell clients, that's why I tell them, please come alone, because what I tell you is only for you, because no one else has this type of hair. Even though I do traditional locks, I know, even though you and I have disrespectful hair, your texture is completely different from my texture.
Right, you're right. Two people's hair can
it's a fingerprint.
Exactly the same. But when you dig in and you look,
it's like a fingerprint, like a DNA. Exactly. Exactly. So, what should somebody look at when, now I know they can do their research. The research can only show you so much, like online. So they go, you mentioned something when I was watching it here about you doing test runs in the back. Let's talk about, what is that?
Yeah, so we do, during the consultation, once you've said that you do want to move forward with Sisterlocks, I install sample locks in your hair. Usually it's in the back. And we use the different locking patterns on a few of the different locks. And over the 2-week period, we try to see which of those patterns may have allowed your hair to lock faster or start the process faster. And then when it's time for your installation, that might be the one we use.
Okay. Someone said, is the only way to transition to... Okay, so there's a couple people asking, and I will have to come in on this question, about transitioning from Sisterlocks to traditional locks. What's your take on that before I answer my question? For me,
I've seen people do it. I don't think there's necessarily a problem with it. It might take more time for your hair to, turn into locks once you combine them, but... I actually have one client who did it. She did it long before me. Yeah. Right? I think she said when she transitioned, her locks may have been maybe 5 inches long. It's a client in Georgia. Oh, wow. So hers was still short. Yeah. And by the time I saw her hair was like past her shoulders, going by right above her bra strap. Right. So they had already, when you look at the end of her lock, that's when you saw it. Right? But that is not something I'm going to do for someone, because you're not going to come back to me and say, oh shit, I changed my mind. Yeah. Like, no, there's certain things I'm not going to deal with. So there are people who have called me and asked me that. I was like, listen, deal with that on your own. Right. That's between you and your hair. That's a responsibility. I'm not going to, again, I stayed in my lane. Right? Yeah, and the people that have done it that I've seen, they did combine them on their own. Yeah. Just braiding it together or twisting their hair together.
So somebody just asked, it's a pretty good question. So I like the questions that's coming. Hi, Carol. Carol, say hello, Queens. Hi, Carol. Hello. Bridget asks, can you take the retightening class and learn to do your own hair?
Yes, there is a retightening class. Once your locks are installed, if you feel like you want to retighten in between on your own sometimes, yes, there's a retightening class that you can take.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing, because let me tell you something. I have traditional locks, and I do even do my own hair.
I know.
I don't know how people could.
See, I have traditional locks.
Yeah, you come to me. Like, I tell people that. One of the reasons why my hair is disrespectful, ever since I was a child, I wasn't the girly type.
Right.
Like, I got my ears ringed so many times because I didn't like my hair getting done. And I don't even know how to use a curling iron on my own head.
Yeah.
So when people say they do their own hair, like, yo, props to you. My mother, my sister, the only two people who could do my hair for me. So you can take the retired class. Is there a right way or wrong way? Okay, I'm assuming Jotawa that this is about Sisterlocks, because I'm not I'm not answering any questions for what do you call it? Traditional locks. Unless it's that type of question where you're combining the two. This is not traditional locks there, I'm sorry. But assuming this is for Sisterlocks, the question is there a right way or a wrong way to start locks?
I'm trying to figure out exactly how to answer that. Well, the wrong way too would be going to someone who has not taken the course and saying you have Sisterlocks because you don't necessarily know if it was done correctly. And I don't really know what else to say with that one. That's an interesting question.
Yeah. It's like, is there a right way?
You would just have to have the confidence in your consultant, and that's where making sure that you feel comfortable with the information you receive during your consultation. I guess that's where that comes into play.
But this is where you look out, because I actually want to do a video on that concerning what to look for when you go to locticians.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a loctician, but what to look for. Like, I personally think we as consumers, and that's with anything,
right.
Me getting my nails done, which I need for my work because I don't need comb, I want to make sure it's not about my money's worth, that you know what you're doing, you're not damaging me. I think it's up to the consumer being paying attention to, like you said, if the person is doing it here too tight, you need to say something. Don't just sit there and they snatch your shit up.
Right, or over time notice that your hair is thinning and you don't bring that attention to your consultant. And if your consultant doesn't say, I noticed that your hair, then something's wrong.
And I actually get that with traditional. I actually get that with traditional clients when they come to me, because I have had clients. Everybody who know me personally know I'm queen on my phone. I take pictures. At the end of the day, you don't have eyes in your head or behind your head where you can see what's going on. A lot of people really don't know their hair is thinning unless it's really bad, until I take the picture and I say, okay, this is what, and they're like, oh shit, I did not know that. So there are some people that will not be honest with you. So let's say somebody started Sisterlocks and they already went through the process, and male pattern baldness is something that runs in women, even though it's called male pattern baldness, right? Because it lies, that lies on the woman's side, it's passed down. Should they stop? Again, I know the answer for that, but you know your hair is thinning for stress, alopecia, male pattern baldness.
Absolutely. Like, don't keep, if something is going on with your hair, you cannot keep getting it done and high tension stuff and expect it to kind of come back. It's not going to. It's going to keep being pulled out. So you really need to give it a break if you're experiencing some severe issues.
How often should somebody retighten Sisterlocks?
So the norm is between 6 to 8 weeks, but it's also very dependent on people's hair growth. Some people's hair grows extremely slow and some grows very fast. So if your hair grows, and your consultant will notice this and tell you, if your hair is growing very slow, you may not need the 6 to 8 weeks. You might be able to stretch it a little bit, but traditionally it's 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Cassandra. Cassandra said I'm a very good interviewer. I know, right? Yeah. They should have me interview Trump. We will see how that shit turns out. I know, right? Let me interview Trump. That's who I want to interview. I got some questions for that fool. Anyway, thanks, Cassandra. No, but you guys, you're having some amazing questions. Somebody is asking, we already did the combined locks part. If you missed it, just go back to the front. We do not do combining of locks. No. I would not recommend it. I'm not going to do it for me because I do not want that on my thing.
You can do that on your own.
Yeah, you on your own with that. No disrespect, but you're all on your own with that. All right. Somebody asked, I'm looking for. Would you recommend Sisterlocks for children? Gabrielle Agua asked that.
Ooh, okay. I don't recommend Sisterlocks for children. Some consultants do. I don't.
Wow. And you know, it's so funny you say that because I've had people hit me up and they said, I remember one time a lady hit me up and she was like, you know, my child is, even though I was brought up into the Rasta culture, my mother waited until we were old enough to start our locks because she didn't want, you know, she don't want us, back then nobody combed out locks. That's the new thing.
Yeah.
But she wasn't having that. When we have it, we were old enough.
You're right.
But I had a lady one time, she hit me up and she said, my child is 2 years old and I started locks. How do I keep it neat? And I was like, are you insane? I'm almost 40 and my shit don't stay neat. That's the time, right? Like, I think, but that's just me. I would never, so listen, if I had children, I not looking my children here. You're going to have a big disrespectful afro, right? Uncomb something. I'll take it to your granny. Let you pull that up. But I'm not, that's just me. So, yeah. All right. So we see eye to eye in that. So somebody asked, somebody says, very informative. Okay. How do you deal with slippage? I don't know what the heck that means.
Well, the consultants have their way of managing slippage, but one way you can avoid...
Like, before you answer that, what is slippage?
So slippage is when your locks they slip out of the pattern. So, you know, you got your retightening, and then over the course of however many days, you see that your hair is becoming loose. So it's coming loose. Is that a common thing for anyone? If you're doing the right things, it's less likely. Let's put it that way. But it can happen. Would a texture, a type of texture here cause that type of slippage? Some textures are more prone, So a looser curl would be more prone to slippage. People with very smooth hair, because you can have an afro, but your hair be very smooth still. Right. So some people have just a smooth cuticle, and their hair would be more prone to slippage. The way to avoid it, cover your hair at night. Yannie talks about that too, silk or satin scarf. And also, you know, there are ways that are appropriate for people with Sisterlocks to wash their hair. So you have to when you wash your hair, you plait it or you section it into large sections so that the ends won't slip out. Okay, all right. That's interesting. When it comes to Sisterlocks, when you know, I know people ask that about the traditional locks versus Sisterlocks, but there's also something called brother locks. Just in case if there are fellas, what is brother locks? So brother locks are just the version of Sisterlocks for men. They tend to be slightly bigger because, you know, men don't usually want dudes don't want that thing on TV. The real dude like, yo, that thing too thin. That's too much. That's too much. So they're usually a little bigger than Sisterlocks are, and they're parted in a way that makes the locks go away from their face, because usually guys don't want hair coming down. They don't need a bob. They don't want. They don't want bangs. They don't want. Let's do it. Kevin do not want bangs. Right. Okay, so we're gonna pull that up. So that's the only difference. That's the only difference. Okay. Wow, this interview going funny. I know, right? You're like, Yannie got no behavior. So a brother could have brother locks. Right. Now, explain to people who do not have Sisterlocks the patience it's taking to sit there and get it done. Now, this is if you don't have Sisterlocks. Just, you know, you guys who know me personally know I move like grease lightning. I see several clients a day, even though my sessions are one-on-one. Clients, it takes me an hour, maybe that's the peak. An hour, 10 minutes to do a client's hair. And that's with no pulling or anything. But that's traditional locks. Plus, I can do this with my eyes closed. I've been doing this for years. When it comes to Sisterlocks, and it's called an installation. You're not calling it. And that's why I love the words. I love words because you're installing it. I love the words. You know, when it comes to installation, so somebody with a head as big as mine, and my head is big. You guys just don't know because I got a lot of hair in it. With big full afro, what is the max hours they're looking at? Oh yeah, it depends on length and thickness, but the minimum usually is like a 2-day period. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I don't really know of anybody who's gotten them started for less than 13 hours, you know, total. But usually it can take a full 2 days or more. Wow. Or more. Yeah, I remember there was a lady that she might still be on my personal Facebook, and she said her hair was actually big and long, and she said hers took 4 days. Yeah, she actually flew her Sisterlocks consultant to. She said she saved for it, and because she moved and she flew the lady there. Oh wow!
Like I don't
It's
have
time
enough.
consuming.
Yeah,
It
I don't
is.
have enough patience. My butt cheek will start to itch. I can't. We don't have to do that with me laying on your lap. Like you know
there's
what?
breaks and stuff. People need to take breaks, go eat and stuff. It's a process. It is.
Wow.
And if you know you can't sit, if you have ADHD and stuff,
I know, right?
it's
I was like, that is not for you. You better just do some traditional locks or some freeform locks and let it lock up on its own.
That's right.
That is interesting. So somebody come to you, and I get this on my side with traditional locks, like they bring a picture and say, well, you know, this person had these, I want my locks just like that.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
You know, because we do have some stuff in common, but it's still a lock community.
Yeah.
We do have some stuff in common. So I know you're gonna, because I meet people like that. Like when I did this lady's here, Loc Crush. We all know Loc Crush with the 300 locks.
Beautiful hair.
Beautiful sister, beautiful attitude. And I've had clients come to me and they're like, oh, you know Loc Crush? I say, yeah, she cool. She's a beautiful, I love her, you know?
Yeah.
I want my locks like that. And I'm like, but you got 5 locks on your dang on head. Let's work with the 5 locks you got. Loc Crush got, and she has a sister that has loose hair. Like that thickness runs in her family. She and her sister has thick hair.
Yeah.
So I know for me, I'd be like, listen, stop looking at everybody else's damn hair. This is your hair. How do you deal with that?
I have to reiterate to people that it's literally
Impossible. Yep, they don't get
your
it.
hair to look exactly like
It
you.
cannot happen. Even if you're a twin.
Yes.
Even if you're a twin.
Sister, your sibling, your mom. Your
It's not
hair
gonna
is
happen.
So I have two sisters, and our hair, all of us, we have totally different hair. So it's impossible for your hair to look exactly like anybody else's. It really is. So it's not even appropriate for you to kind of get that idea in your head, because you're going to be disappointed. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. The best thing to do is learn to appreciate and love what you have. Love your hair.
Wow. So you guys heard that. Okay, so the girl who asked, Gabrielle Agua, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Gabrielle. She said her daughter is 11. Is that a good time? But she's telling her daughter wait till 14, 15 years old.
I like the waiting till 14, 15.
Yeah.
Wait till like high school age. They're older, they're a little more mature. And
they're sure of themselves.
More sure
because
of
you
their
can't, they want to like, Mommy, I don't like this because everybody have a perm.
Right. Because, you know, kids change their mind a lot. They don't know who they are yet. So high school.
And kids of today, you know, back in the day, we didn't have minds to change.
Yeah, right.
Wherever your mother puts you in. The word negotiation, we only knew that word when we saw the movie Negotiator. Because there was no negotiation.
Exactly.
You keep that shit in your head.
Yep, that's what I said.
That was I said. That was it.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I mean, some people do choose to lock their kids' hair at a young age. You know, it's just my opinion to kind of wait till they know what they want.
Okay. How often can you, Colette Hunt? I'm assuming Colette, this is a Sister Lock question because I'm not answering any traditional lock questions. How often can you steam your hair?
I don't advise anybody to steam their hair because it's really not necessary. I guess I don't know. I'm not a big steamer fan, because I've seen some people really damage their hair by over-steaming.
Over-steaming. I have a client like that. She bought a little, she told me, I didn't even know that shit existed. Yeah, it's some little cap, and she was doing it like 3 times a day. Yeah. 3 times a week. I'm like, you are burning the frazzle out of your follicles. Right.
So I don't really find it necessary. I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about the steamer, but I've seen people do damage with the steamer. So, you don't have to worry about that.
Gabrielle said, nah, boss, that's not for me. I guess you must have heard about the waiting time. Yeah. So if somebody said your locks are beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so Chastity Cato, God, I'm horrible at pronouncing names, guys. Hello, I started traditional locks and ended up cutting them off because the stylist had me come every 2 weeks and my lock began to thin. Goodness. I'm considering starting Sisterlocks. Yeah. How will I know they are certified? Okay.
Okay, that's when you visit the Sisterlocks website, www.sisterlocks.com, and there's a list. It goes through each state and even different countries. And you can find who's closest to you that does Sisterlocks. Right. And I advise you to go to a few different consultants, like maybe do consultations with a few different consultants, and just check their vibe and see how you feel about it.
That's so important.
Yeah. You need to go with someone you really trust And even at the end of the day, even if they are certified, you can be good or bad at anything. So just make sure you feel good about the information you're receiving from them.
From them, exactly. And I like that idea you gave. Go to different people, because a lot of people don't know. Those of you that like the F word, free, the consultation is free. Are free. Yeah. So anyone who's charging you for that, you need to... Yeah, that is not allowed.
I mean, it very clearly says it on the Sisterlocks site that it comes as a package. You get your consultation for free. You get a little kit for free, and your first retightening for free. It's all included in your first.
Wow! Look at you see.
So you need to check the website and see. And if somebody's not following that, something isn't right.
Right. Is there somebody you can complain to? Let's say my cousin had her. I do have a cousin, but let's say my cousin had a her Sisterlocks installed, and it's jacked up and it looked like shit.
Yeah, any questions or concerns you can direct towards the Sisterlocks home office, and their number and stuff is on the website.
Right, so I guess somebody I could complain to concerning that. Right. Now you mentioned something, one of the things that you've seen where people come to you with a laundry list of products in a bag.
Oh, yeah, Sisterlocks is minimal, locks in general, very minimal products. Very minimal.
So that's we have in common.
That we do have in common. So just get rid of the idea that you need to be putting something in your hair. You need to kind of let your hair do its thing and figure out what it does need. So piling things on your scalp is not doing anything for you. It can reverse the effects, and it can cause more slippage. If you're putting the wrong stuff in your hair, it can cause your locks to slip out. If you're paying this money for Sisterlocks or any type of locks, you want them to be what they're supposed to be, and you can completely reverse that by putting everything in the kitchen sink in your hair.
That's it. Right. Now I know for somebody looking at this video, they like, but she don't have Sisterlocks. How is she gonna? Don't worry, I got you, girl. I can interview. I got you. This is what I do. So they might be looking at this like, how the ass she talking about Sisterlocks and she have one traditional locks like Yannie. But before I get to that, do you? Let's say Michelle comes to you. Do you have pictures to show them your work?
Yes, I do. I have actually an Instagram. It's Fuss Free Locks.
I will add that to the caption.
FREE locks. Yes. Yeah, and Yannie will add it.
Right, so you guys could head over there. But let's say, so my question is, why don't you have Sisterlocks?
I get that question a lot, especially by potential clients. I love and appreciate locks in general.
No matter what type of locks it is. Right.
I love and appreciate locks. I appreciate natural hair. And like we were talking about earlier, not everything is for everyone. Yeah. So while I can appreciate Sisterlocks, I also know my own limitations as far as what I'm willing to do with my hair and how long I want to sit with my hair.
Heck no.
I have a little son. I can't be spending all this time on my hair. So Sisterlocks weren't right for me, but I love admiring other people's Sisterlocks.
Right. Yeah, I have seen some, even though I feel the same way. And even when people have called me and they do get to talk to me on the phone concerning Sisterlocks, I say, I personally cannot put it in my hair.
Right.
I'm cheap as heck. And secondly, I'm not sitting that long to get my Sisterlocks done. So again, you have to decide for yourself. I think when it comes to even locks, I think this is something you really need to sit down and talk, because something that is common, and I never heard about it in Trinidad. I know if I was to talk to Trinidadian Rasta men who I grew up with, and I tell them people comb out locks, they're gonna look at me like, what the people are combing out locks now. It's like, what went wrong for you to decide you're just gonna comb this thing out? So it's something you really got to sit down and decide, is this for me?
Right. That's one thing too. Yes, you need to do your research. I'm going to keep saying that. Research.
Yeah.
Talk to your consultants and stuff before you decide to make that decision, because I am not helping you take out hundreds of locks.
Wow.
I'm not doing it.
So it could be taken out.
I've seen people do that.
I saw somebody say they took it out with a hairpin.
Yeah,
you had to be out of your damn mind.
That's so time consuming and ridiculous to me. No.
Yeah, I can't even. I don't even know. That's the type of patience only Job have.
Right.
So to wrap it up, be careful who you go to, right? Avoid what I realized, especially with the lock community. not but just people in general, and especially with black people, we don't want to spend money on quality,
right?
Like what I was telling you about the one time, it's never happened in my life when the girl said she accustomed paying $45 for hair, and I was like, well, you need to go back and pay $45 because you won't get what you paid for,
exactly,
right? One thing I would advise anybody that's going for Sisterlocks, whether you're going to Shacara, because this is not to advertise her, she's putting this information because she cannot work on somebody that is in Nebraska, right? Good. Do not haggle the person. They paid money to be certified. Like, I have a problem with haggling because when we go to Walmart to buy that flat screen TV, we do not ask Walmart, you can knock $20 off. No, they're going to take you out with handcuffs. Get your ass out the damn store. Exactly. So do not haggle. This, I would admit, I mean, for me, I know people who have Sisterlocks, and it is, for them, it is cost effective, right? It's how much you are willing to pay. They are going to discuss that with you. No two people prices are the same, right? Do your research. Okay, if you do have a scalp condition, no, not appropriate. Fix yourself, get that check, and you guys know how I feel about that. Meaning, don't just work on the scalp, work on the inside, right? Take care of your body from the inside out. All right. If you know you're prone for stress, where it makes your hair fall out, because I have clients like that. When they're stressed out, their hair fall out, and then it grows right back. Yeah. Sisterlocks is not for you, because those Sisterlocks will fall out in patches. It's going to grow back, but not going to grow back as Sisterlocks. Right. It's going to grow back in an afro. Yeah. Right. Okay. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. So, with that being said, I would like to thank all the people. Hold on, let me just go over and make sure nobody's sending any questions so they don't think Yannie being rude and ignoring them. And I will definitely post this video on my... Okay, I love her locks, right? They can be taken out the way my patience is. All right. Melinda was like, they can be taken out by the way my patience is set. I love that one. Yeah, Melinda, try it. And let me see how it looks. All right, so I'm going to post on Instagram. Guys, again, I can't tell you this enough. Thank you for viewing this, for subscribing to this. Please share it. Tag a friend or two in this that has Sisterlocks, that is doing the most. Stop them and say, listen, you know, relax. Don't tag somebody in my information if they have Sisterlocks and say, go listen to Yannie, she gonna help you. Right. No, my work is for traditional locks, and she's gonna do another video of this. Each time she come, we're gonna address, because she doesn't come that often. My clients don't see me that often. So we might do another couple more videos of this for people who missed this one, right? But tag somebody who you know has Sisterlocks that is doing the most. Yeah. All right? Because that's the problem in the lock community. I can't stress that enough. You're all doing the damn most. And your hair is going to fall out. All right? Keep it simple. Drink your water. Eat properly. Watch your stress level. All right? For everyone, I just want to thank you. Right? When is a good time for people to call you?
It's best to call me between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Yeah, because you got a child. You can't be answering calls like all.
Because people do try to call me at like 12 at night.
Girl, stop playing. I have gotten calls 1, 2 in the morning. Yeah, when I first started this business, I used to be all up until I was like, I don't sleep. Yeah, I start from 9 to 6, and then I have to.
Come on, have some respect.
Yeah, and sometimes I need my Netflix time. It's not like I'm doing anything. Relax. I need to watch Netflix. Okay, I'm really watching Family Guy on Netflix. Absolutely. That's like a big deal for me. All right, so you guys, thank you all again. Tag somebody in this that has Sisterlocks. The people with traditional locks, this video is not for you. The people with Sisterlocks, the information I put out there is not for you. She just explained, even though we do have some issues in common, this is a whole different ballgame. Yeah. Stay in your lane. Right. If you want to combine your locks, that is between you and your hair. All right? I am not doing that. All right? That is between you and your hair. You will figure that out how you want to do it. She and I cannot answer that. All right? With that being said, thank you guys for viewing in. I'm going to do another video tomorrow about, what the heck the video was about? I can't remember. There's some video. Oh, the difference between locks and loose natural hair. Because a lot of people don't know there is a huge difference. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do that video tomorrow. More videos are coming in. I'm back in Jersey, working hard before I hit Trinidad. I'm going to post some really cool videos for you guys. All right, guys. Everyone have a blessed day. Say bye. Isn't she beautiful? Shake your hair so they can see it. Look at that. Yeah, now that is my work. You guys have a good one. Love you guys. Bye.
Rastaman.